Japanese household item supplier Daiso will be investing $1 billion to build its largest global distribution centre in Port Klang, Selangor next year. The GDC in Port Klang will be Daiso's second international hub after China, according to the report from Bernama. Daiso Malaysia Group Chairman Tan Sri Khairul Adib Abdul Rahman said the GDC will function as a global distribution hub for Daiso to launch logistics operations for the entry of Daiso's products from Japan and China, including distribution to 22 countries in Asia and the Middle East. The GDC will take up an area of 130,000 square feet and is expected to commence development in May 2024 and be completed in May 2026. It is scheduled to be operational in January 2027. Selangor MB Datuk Sri Amiruddin Shari, who was at the signing ceremony related to the deal, said the construction of the global hub resulted from ongoing efforts by Invest Selangor over the past few years and was grateful that the company chose Selangor for the high-value investment. He pointed out that while the global logistics hub is not a new thing in Selangor, as many have opened in the state such as Lazada and Shopee, the Daiso One will be the biggest hub for the retailer around the world. Baustet Plantation's share price climbed to RM1.41 in morning trade after the Armed Forces Fund Board swooped in to privatise its 68.01% controlled plantation group at RM1.55 per share. It eventually closed at RM1.40, 10% higher than its pre-suspension price. It was among Bursa Malaysia's most active and top gainers, with over 79 million shares transacted. LTAT's offer price matches Kuala Lumpur Kepong's proposed acquisition of a 33% stake and one share in BPlant from LTAT and Baustet Holdings for a cumulative $1.15 billion, which fell through on Wednesday. Under the deal, KLK had planned to extend a mandatory general offer at RM1.55 per share to privatise BPlant, with KLK controlling a 65% stake and LTAT the other 35%. However, with the KLK deal now defunct, LTAT has taken the reins and is expected to fork out $1.11 billion to acquire the remaining 31.99% stake in BPlant it does not control. It should be noted that the KLK BPlant deal was a point of contention in Parliament, as a number of opposition leaders claimed it was not in line with the government's aim of achieving the Bumiputra corporate equity target of 30% by 2025. It is also worth noting that earlier this week, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the Ministry of Finance had allocated $300 million to aid LTAT in addressing its liquidity issues and another $2 billion by year-end to save LTAT. With the offer price remaining the same at RM1.55, investment analysts still say the deal is valued at a premium in the context of the plantation sector. Kenanga maintained its recommendation for shareholders to accept the offer, as it would allow them a better exit. As for KLK, HLIB research was mildly positive on the development, as it did not expect the original deal to be earnings accretive, at least in the near to medium term. Sunway Construction Group's JV with construction firm Kajima Malaysia has won a $595.38 million contract to build a distribution centre warehouse for Daiso Malaysia Group in Pulau Indah, Selangor. The contract will span a period of 34.5 months and is expected to be completed by the second quarter of 2026. The JV is unincorporated, but SunCon said that its unit will enter into a detailed JV agreement with Kajima with an equal equity split, with Kajima positioned as the JV's lead. Meanwhile, SunCon also announced that the same subsidiary also secured a job from K2 Strategic Infrastructure Malaysia to develop a data centre in Johor, valued at 190 million ringgit. According to a separate filing, this project is for a period of approximately 14 months and is expected to be completed in phases, with the final phase to be completed by the fourth quarter of 2024. The construction player notes that both projects are expected to contribute positively to its earnings for FY 2023 onwards. SunCon notes that the total for the new projects it has secured year to date amounts to 2.2 billion ringgit. Financially distressed Capital A has requested to further extend the deadline of the company to submit its regularisation plan, which was originally due on October 7th to December 31st, 2023. In a boss filing, Capital A said that it had filed said request with Bursa Securities on Thursday. This marks the third time that Capital A has requested to further extend the deadline. The original deadline on January 7, 2023 had been extended twice, first to July 7th and then October 7th. In January, Capital A CEO Tan Sri Tony Fernandes was quoted saying that the group is optimistic of exiting PN17 status by the end of this year. But in June, he was then quoted saying that exiting PN17 status was almost as big a challenge as restarting the airline. To recap, Capital A slipped into PN17 status in January 2022 after its external auditor, Messrs. Ernst & Young, raised material concerns about the airline's ability to continue as a going concern. The federal court has upheld the Mariva injunction imposed by the High Court on March 22, 2022, involving assets worth $42 million in the suit filed by SRC International and its subsidiary against ex-PM Datuk Sri Najib Razak. A three-member Apex Court bench led by Federal Court Judge Tan Sri Nalini Padmanathan said the bench unanimously dismissed Najib's motion for leave for the matter to be heard on its merits and a chance to revisit several old case laws in the granting of the Mariva injunction. Najib's counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah cited the Lakatamiya Shipping Co. versus Toshiko Morimoto 2019 case at the Court of Appeal, but Nalini said it does not alter the test in the granting of the Mariva injunction. Nalini, who sat with federal court judges Datuk Noordin Hassan and Datuk Abu Bakar Jayes, ordered Najib to pay $30,000 costs to both SRC and its subsidiary Gandengan Mentari. Najib's failure to get leave to appeal means that the Mariva injunction to freeze his assets in line with the suits filed. Last week, the High Court also dismissed Najib's application to set aside a $681 million or 3.2 billion ringgit Mariva injunction in a suit involving 1MDB and another 1MDB subsidiary.